Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready to go? Yeah. We are moving as you talk to your soul. Go, 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 go. Don't you know that it's beautiful? We're not crazy. You and I never die. We will fly, soaring with angels. You and the angels.
Listen to the vibes.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Listen to the Vibes. I'm very happy to welcome Ray here from Fly to the Sun. This band is putting out their debut album, but Ray, you've been in the business for a while, huh?
Absolutely. Well, you know, my day job, my career was in pharmaceutical research. I managed big drug companies' research, and but I always did music too. I did both, and I've been in various bands, promoted a lot of bands, and then this project just kind of came along. I wasn't really in the market to be doing an album at that time, but I got some ideas from a guy, a producer in Europe that had approached me and wanted to do some songs. And I listened to some of his stuff, and I started thinking, you know, I might want to do an album. And so it all happened very naturally and kind of cosmically too, because I had to put a band together. So I had some song concepts that I wanted to work on, but I didn't have a band at the time, and so I had to build a band from scratch. So once I realized what type of music I was going to be doing, I thought of the best people that would be the best fit for that. And I wanted to get musicians that not only were great players, but were great people to work with, you know, team people that I could work with. Because, you know, when you're making an album, it's kind of like a family. You're interacting every day. You're getting, you know, phone calls, mail, emails, text messages. So it better be somebody you like, because you're going to be living with them for quite a while. So I wanted to get good people, and I had known Andrew Giddings from Jethro Tull. Andrew was a keyboard player for Jethro Tull for 16 years, and I talked to him, and he said, "Yeah, I'd like to do this." I told him what I wanted to do, and he said, "Yeah, I want to do this." And the reason I loved Andrew, not only a cool guy, great sense of humor and stuff, but he's a brilliant keyboard player, but also an amazing producer. He did a lot of Jethro Tull's production, and he's just a great producer. So I brought in Andrew, and I called Billy Sheehan because Billy and I had talked some years before. I had a project, and Billy said, "Hey, if you ever need me to play bass, let me know." And I said, "Well, I got a bass player now, but you know, maybe something in the future." Well, when this thing came up, I got a hold of Billy, and I told him what I was going to be doing and the kind of music that it would be, and Billy said, "I'd love to do this." And I said, "Okay, you're in." So we had our bass player, we had our keyboard player. I called Jennifer Batten, who I had known for a long time. Of course, for those out there who don't know Jennifer, she was Michael Jackson's touring guitarist, and Jeff Beck also. And so Jennifer is just an amazing guitar player and an amazing person. I love her like a sister. And I've had her stay out at our place here in Arizona, and she's done some solo shows out here for me. And so Jennifer and I are close. And I said, "Hey, how would you like to do a record?" And I told her what I was going to be doing, and I said, "I would love to have you be our lead guitar." And she said, "Ray, count me in. I want to do this." So that's what I mean. The whole thing just built so naturally. And I talked to Billy Sheehan and I said, hey, I want to get a drummer, but I want somebody really good that's going to, fit with our team, and somebody that can play any style, because these songs, each song is going to be unique. Every song is different from the others. They don't all have the same continuity like a lot of bands where every song you could tell is kind of the same style. This is all different. Each song is different from each other. And I said, I need a really good drummer. And he said, Ray, the best guy, the best drummer, Gregg Bissonette. And Gregg Bissonette, of course, was a drummer in David Lee Roth's band with Billy Sheehan and Steve Vai on guitar. And Gregg is just a phenomenal drummer. And in fact, he was just rated #1 drummer in the world in a big worldwide survey they did. Gregg Bissonette won for best drummer. So he's great. And then, of course, he's in Ringo Starr's band. And Ringo could have chosen any drummer on the planet to be his drummer, and he chose Gregg Bissonette. So that says a lot about Gregg. And so I love Gregg. He's just such a genuine person, so great to work with. And so we had our drummer, and we started to build a really cohesive group. And I brought in JJ Sansaverino, who's #1 on Billboard, great guitar player, because I needed some cool jazz riffs and jazz chords played on some of this stuff. And I brought in JJ, and he's amazing. And I had some violin parts that I wanted to plug into some of these songs. I wanted some cool violin. And so I got a hold of Joe Deninzon. Joe is the violin player for Kansas. And Joe is really just an amazing violin player. So I contacted Joe and I says, hey, man, we got a cool band we're putting together here. How'd you like to join us? And he said, absolutely. I said, yeah, count me in. So, it just started to all evolve like that. And it was just really, really quite magical the way it all came together. And I got a couple local guys. I needed some parts played on the title track of this album. Bass player in Sedona, Arizona, named Troy Perkins, who was just phenomenal. And then Drew Hall, I had play a guitar solo on Fly to the Sun, because I knew his style fit that song so perfectly. He's kind of like, he reminds me, I always liken him to Duane Allman, because Duane Allman played with such beautiful feel. He had just such a unique style, and Drew Hall has that. And I knew he would be a great fit for the solo I needed on that song. So anyway, we put the band together, and then we started recording, and it turned out amazing. Initially, we were going to do an EP, a 4-song EP, and put it out there and see how well it was received, and if people liked it. I thought, well, then we could do more. But we started to work on the songs, and before you know it, we had 5, and then 6, and then 7, and then 8 songs. You know how musicians are. You always want to do more and more. And all of a sudden, I go, hey, we got enough for an album. Let's put the album out there and see how it does, and then we'll take it from there. So it's been a magical experience for sure.
Let's talk about your singing, because there were times I thought I was listening to Barry White, and then I could swear I heard Peter Gabriel in there. But I mean, you have a way of changing your voice. How do you do that?
One of the things I decided to do when we decided to work on these songs is, rather than use the same vocal tone for every song, I wanted to change it up to make it different. So it wasn't the same guy singing the same way all the time. And my wife was just saying the other day, actually, she says, for people who don't know who you are, when they hear this music, they're going to think you're a big black guy. I said, really? She goes, yeah. She goes, some of the things you sing, you sound like you're a 300-pound black dude, and you got this big deep voice. And then all of a sudden you sing this high stuff like John Anderson from Yes. And I've been very fortunate that my voice has held up through the years, and I still have a pretty decent range. But I tried to vary it just to make the album a little more interesting, and to use some different vocal tones and effects like that. So thank you for mentioning that. Nobody's ever said that before. And and when I listen to it, I go, geez, I sound like three different people singing on this album. But that was by design. I just wanted to make it a little more interesting for the listener.
None of the songs sound like you belong in a specific genre.
One of the things I wanted to do was I wanted to make a very eclectic album. I wanted each song to have a totally different vibe to it. So it would be appealing to everybody, whether you're young, whether you're older, whether you're into hip hop, whether you're into progressive rock or pop music. I wanted it to appeal to everybody. And that's what I was looking for, is more of a broad-based appeal. So the album would have something for everybody rather than just one specific genre. And so that was by design. We wanted to do it, even though we've got an Indian song on there, a world music song called Taj Mahal. And you wouldn't think a progressive pop or a progressive rock band would do a song like that, but it turned out so cool. And it just happened so matter of factly. I got a rhythm track from my producer, and I started listening to it, and I go, yeah, I really like this. I'm going to make an Indian song out of it. I'm going to call it Taj Mahal. And I wrote the lyrics, and I contacted Billy and Jennifer, and I said, hey, I'd like you to work on this song. And they played just such cool stuff. I mean, the guitar licks that Jennifer played on it, and then Billy recorded it in Nashville, and he called me from his engineer's house that afternoon after he recorded the bass track for Taj Mahal, and he said, I think you're going to find this bass pretty interesting on this song. And I said, oh, I'm sure, coming from you, I know it'll be interesting. And he said, well, at the end, I played a sitar bass solo on the end of the song. And he said, it came out so cool. He said, would you be okay with me putting it on my website? And I said, oh, of course, absolutely. It's your material. Go ahead and do what you want. Well, anyway, he played a sitar bass solo on the end of that song that is so cool. And the thing I love about it is it's so melodic, because when you hear sitar music, it's kind of more of a free form, wild kind of guitar sound kind of thing, But Billy is so, I mean, his mind is so structured that he played it like it was written. Like every note was so perfect, and so the timings and the tones of every note, you wouldn't even know it was a sitar bass. It was so perfect. And so yeah, we try to have something for everybody, And when Taj Mahal was finished, I thought, I think the people of India would really like this song. And so I sent it to the Prime Minister of India, Prime Minister Modi of India. I had a professional package put together, and I had the CD made real nice as a professional promo CD. And I sent it to Prime Minister Modi and three of the consul generals of India, all the high up generals in the Indian government. So I sent that to them, so they had it too. And I told Prime Minister Modi, I said, if you guys want to use it for tourism or whatever, I want you to have it as my gift to the people of India. And in addition, what we're going to do with that is, if the album does well, and we get a lot of paid downloads, and we're making money. I would like to set aside a fund for the maintenance of the Taj Mahal, and that'll be our contribution back to the people of India, because the Taj Mahal was built in 1640, so it's a beautiful building, but it needs a lot of maintenance. It's old. So we would like to contribute to some sort of a maintenance fund for the Taj Mahal. So we got a lot of plans for it, and we'll see what happens. Hopefully the world will accept our offering, and it will produce some revenues for us. But I want people to know that we're not just trying to gouge them for money. We've got a very altruistic mindset about this record. It's something special. It kind of reminds me of the old days, something the Beatles would put out or something, and we want to give back to society in some way. So that's one of the goals. And then animal rescues is another one of our big things that we want to contribute to if the album does well. So anyway, yeah, it's a pretty cool album, pretty unique. And we'll just see if people like it, and if they don't, hey, that's okay too. There's a lot of great music out there to choose from. So, yeah.
You seem to take a lot of care in bringing the audience into the songs with the lyrics and, of course, the music. What inspires you to write these lyrics, and what is your goal there?
Yeah. Well, as far as actually, well, let's address the listener aspect first. I call it listener license, and I've had people that I know who have heard these songs. They'll say to me, "What did you mean in the lyrics to that song? What did you have in mind when you wrote it?" And I always tell people, I don't want to ruin your listener license. I want you to decide what that song means to you, because you can ask 10 different people what a song means, and they can all have a completely different idea of what a song might mean. So I never want to stifle that. I think the listeners have the right to listen to a song and decide what it means to them. And rather than me saying, well, I was walking in the park with my dog and talking to my wife, and all of a sudden I got this, I would rather people say, I got a totally spiritual idea of what that song meant. You just blew my mind telling me you were writing about your wife. So I always tell people, you decide, you listen to the song, and you decide what it means to you. That's what's most important. And everybody has that right, I think, to make that decision on listening to a song from any band. And so that's what I would say about that. And as far as the actual writing, I think all writers probably experience this, is songs just kind of come to you sometimes. You know what I mean? They come out of thin air. And I'll be taking a shower, or one night I was going to bed. It was after midnight. I was sitting on the edge of the bed, getting ready to go to sleep, and a whole song came into my head. And it was the weirdest thing. So I got up and I went over to my desk and I wrote down the lyrics, and I went to bed. And then the next morning I looked at it and I go, oh, wow. So I wrote out the song and developed the song and the melodies and everything. So, it's kind of an inspiration thing. And I'm sure you've heard this before, where sometimes things just kind of come to you. You don't know where they come from another dimension, or from our subconscious, or wherever these thoughts come from. So I've tried sitting down sometimes and saying, okay, I'm going to write a song, and nothing comes to me. I'm like, okay, this isn't the right time. So it's just kind of one of those things. I was saying before, I know Ian Anderson very well from Jethro Tull. And what Ian does, specifically for that reason, he keeps a little recorder by his bedside. And because a lot of these intuitions will come up when you're starting to go to sleep or when you're first waking up in the morning. You get these little ideas for a riff or a lyric. So what he does is he records them because he knows it's a fleeting thing. He's going to forget it if he doesn't record it. So he'll record a riff, and then go back to bed or whatever. So I start to do similar things like that. I'll usually write them down. I'll usually just get up and write down the lyrics, or if it's an actual melody, I'll sing it into my phone. I have a phone app, a recorder, and I'll just sing it into my phone. So that's a great thing for people out there who want to write music, because sometimes you'll get an idea for some lyrics, or you'll get a melody or a riff that comes into your head. And I tell everybody, record it right away, because 5 minutes from now, it'll be gone.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll think, oh, what was I thinking about again? It just will be gone. So record it right away if it's something cool that you really like. And so that's what I try to do as far as songwriting goes. But thank you for your comments on the lyrics. There's a couple songs on there that I think are just wonderful lyrically. And I'm proud of myself because they just kind of came to me, and I don't even remember where I was or whatever, but I'll listen to the song now and I'll go, wow, I wrote that. It's very cool. And that's what's so exciting about music. It's the creativity of it, and it's a beautiful thing. And I don't know, I listen to some of these great bands out there, and I think, where do they come up with this stuff? It's so amazing. But I don't know. Someday we'll know the answer to that. But it's a lot of fun. But that's what I would tell people out there listening is, if you are wanting to develop songs, record those ideas quickly, because you'll forget them.
With the band members doing their thing, are you planning on getting another band together to go on tour, or what's plans there?
Like Jennifer recently said, anything is possible. We would, if there was enough interest.
Mm-hmm.
If all of a sudden we had a hit, and the album really started to take off. I mean, anything is possible. These are all very busy musicians. They're all touring. And, the way music is these days, everybody's in multiple bands. Everybody's in 2, 3, 4 bands. And so they have to prioritize where they're going to go. And so, if I were ever to tour this album, I would want this band.
Yeah.
It just wouldn't do the music justice to bring in other players. I mean, if people want to come and see Fly to the Sun, they're going to want to see Jennifer Batten and Billy Sheehan and Andrew Giddings, Gregg Bissonette. They're going to want to see these people. So it would be unfair to put a different band on stage to do this music. Maybe 1 or 2 players we might have to change, but I would want the core band to be together. So we'll just have to see, let's see how it does. And the interest so far has just been off the charts. I'm stunned the number of responses I've gotten already just this week. It's just been really amazing. So I think people look at us as something new and fresh, unique, and people are calling us a super band. And I don't think of myself in those terms, but I certainly think of these people in those terms. When you're putting this kind of lineup together, I can see why some people might call it that. But to be on stage, I don't know. A good friend of mine is president of Live Nation,
Mm-hmm.
and I think we could put something together pretty easily if the demand was there. But we don't want to go there and play Red Rocks and have 100 people show up. So we want to make sure that the interest is there for this album, and yeah, maybe we could do something. We'll see how it goes.
Now, the album itself doesn't come out till later this month, correct?
Right, right. So the radio impact date is October 23rd. That's when it'll start getting played. Although I've heard some stations are already playing it. But October 23rd is when the media blitz will come out, and it'll be played on 3 or 4 or 5,000 stations worldwide. It's going to get a lot of airtime. And but the actual release, the CD will be released on Amazon on October 27th, which coincidentally is my birthday.
Oh,
And it just kind of worked out that way. I didn't plan it that way. And I'm also going to be in New York. I'm not going to be home for the release. I'm going to be in New York. And so we're going to do some kind of a celebration, maybe at a record store in the New York area, and maybe have like an official release party with the media can come and take pictures and stuff. So we got some plans we're working on now.
do you have a website?
Yes, yep, and it's called flytothesun.com.
And what about social media?
Yeah, we have a Facebook page for it, and we just started because everybody was telling me you got to be on Instagram, and I'm like, geez, really? We don't have time for all this, you know? But so we just started an Instagram page so we could put some pictures up for people. And as far as the streaming, you know, that's a little bit of a sore spot with me.
Yeah.
Because, you know, and I feel bad for bands sometimes because, you know, you put 100 grand or 200 grand into producing a record or whatever, and then they give it away for free on Spotify.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait a minute, you did all this work and spent all this money, and now you're giving it away for free. How do you do that? So I'm not saying I'm against streaming media because I think it's wonderful. It's like a big library that people can go and get music. But for a new project, I don't think we're quite ready to give it away yet. We've got a lot of bills to pay, and I've got band members that would like to get some income, and so we'll put it out there as paid downloads, so people can buy it for 99 cents if they want to buy it. If they want to buy a song, then I don't think 99 cents is going to kill somebody. But and then if they want to buy the album, the CDs will be available on Amazon. So if they want to buy the whole album, and the album is cool too, and not just to plug it, but the CD booklet itself is a work of art. It's really beautiful. I mean, the graphic artist that we have in Belarus over in Europe is just really, really gifted, and he put together the most beautiful CD booklet. So I think people are going to want to buy it, just even if they're not into buying CDs anymore. They're going to want this one because it's really a special collector's item, not only for the booklet, but the music is great too. So, but the booklet's really something special. It's eye candy, you know, it really is very beautiful. So, so we're going to do that. And then eventually we'll be on Spotify and all of those. But initially, we've got bills to pay, you know, so that's kind of the approach we're taking with it.
You could make some extra money just making posters and T-shirts out of that album cover.
Yeah, well, we're thinking that too, and we'll see how interest is. We could do all kinds of merch. The artwork on the album is really incredible, and yeah, so there's a lot of things we can do. We want to do vinyl too, so we'll see how it goes, see how well it's received, but based on the initial response, it's been pretty overwhelming. So I think there's a lot of interest out there. We'll see.
Ray, I can't thank you enough for coming on the show, man. And I wish the best for you and Fly to the Sun.
Well, thank you. Thanks so much for having me, and if you ever want to do a follow-up, or you want to get one of the other folks on there, I'll talk to them and see if we can get them to come on and talk to you too, if you want to interview any of them.
Oh, I'd love that. I really would.
Yeah.
I'd like to know their experience and how they felt making the album.
Yeah, for sure.
But
Sounds good.
again, man, thank you. And also want to thank all you folks out there. If you are new to the channel, well, I hope you'll come back, hit that subscribe button. And for my regulars, you guys are awesome because you make it possible for me to do this. And until the next one, everyone, please take care. Be kind to one another. God bless and peace.